The KO2 continues to blow me away. I'm going to tell you all about it as soon as I put these sticks away. And a shout out to today's patron. That patron shout out goes to Mike Pounder. Thank you so very much for the support. Let's get started. All right, we are here out in the barn, which someone appropriately named the Beat Barn, which I kind of like. Anyway, we're out here, we've got the KO2, and we've got my Roland TD17 electronic drum set. Now, you just heard me play a little bit on the kit here, but the sounds you were hearing were actually coming from the KO2. I don't have any audio coming out of the TD17. There's only 3 cables coming from it. We've got power to the wall right here. We've got the second crash cymbal plugged in with this 1/4-inch cable right here, which that jack is actually failing. It's very spotty and inconsistent, which is kind of a bummer. And then we also have the 5-pin MIDI out of this module here, which is going into the 5-pin MIDI in of my KeyStep 37, and then the output of that is going into the MIDI in of the KO2. So all of the sounds you just heard were in the KO2. See, I went into Group A here and assembled this drum kit. And then I went into the TD17 and I mapped the note numbers of all the pads to match the note numbers of the kit pieces here on the KO2. So, snare drum, tom, another tom, kick, open hat, and then if I hold down the pedal, closed hat. Then if I chip the pedal, I've actually got a second closed hat sound, but with a much lower volume on the KO2. So I've got 2 different ones there. Then I've got this China sample that's just stock, and it cuts itself off pretty quick. Got a more traditional crash sample there, ride cymbal right there, the bell of the cymbal, and then I actually have another more reverby snare sound right here on the edge of the cymbal. Just like that. This works super well because of how the KO2 is laid out in terms of like composing drum parts. This is amazing. It's genius. I can record everything right into the KO2 and then tweak it to my heart's desire. And because the timing can be completely turned off on the KO2, I can just go for it. So let's go for, yeah, sure, 8 bars. That's what I already had on the project I was working at. I'm gonna bring the tempo down because I had it at 180. That was for a project I was working on. We won't go that fast. We'll go to 140. How about that? And then we'll play for 8 bars. Not my finest recording, but it'll do for the purposes of this. How cool is that though? I could just go in and immediately start messing with stuff. We can go and like, loop. Apply punch-in effects. You can have so much fun with it. You can mess with the fader too, But do you hear how the nuances of the performance were captured there? There's a part actually at the end where I'm doing this, that one. Oh, that doesn't actually choke. That's just a really short sample. But you can hear I accidentally just barely ding the ride cymbal. And because we were in the free quantize, so no quantize recording mode, it got it in there. And then if we want, we could even clean stuff up with the timing correct. Which obviously kind of throws some things off, so we're going to undo that actually. But there's just a plethora of options to use here. I could then go in and resample all of that. into its own sample and then chop that up. And because of how versatile you can be with the sounds here, you're pretty much unlimited. I could then go in and adjust sounds after the fact. So we could change this snare drum like a cross stick, and now we're going to have a completely different vibe. Don't know if I'd recommend the cross stick in the context of what I played, though. Also, there's obviously lots of kinks I still need to work out. I need to go in and dial the sounds in better on the KO2, but also dial the pad settings in on my TD-17 in terms of the sensitivity and the responsiveness, because I'm finding the feel of playing sounds triggered on the KO2 to be a bit different than the more natural play style of, the actual module itself. I just kind of wanted to showcase this setup and let you know that if this is how you want to write music, the KO2 could be what you're after. I mean, the KO2 plus a drum module plus a MIDI cable, and you're gonna be golden. Like, this is so sick. And what else is cool is, let's make a new scene here, and we'll just erase the drums. We can even go in and play with the fader live. So I've got the fader set to pitch right now. Yeah, it's so fun. I'd imagine there would probably be some pretty impressive live performance things that you could figure out how to do with a little bit of practice and a little bit of messing around. But there is another cool thing too with the sidechain compression. So here on my key step, I'm gonna go to MIDI channel 4, which I know that's a bass from group B. So let's record something in here on our bass. Let's just go, we'll go one measure long. How about that? 1, 2, 3, 4. Nice and simple. Now, let's go into the output by hitting Shift and Effects, go to sidechain, and then we are going to enact group B. So group B will be sidechained to the kick. So now, whenever I play the kick drum, it's going to automatically sidechain the bass, and it'll process this, it'll do this live. It's so cool. We can adjust. I mean, this thing costs like $300 US. Are you freaking kidding me? Incredible. That's all. That's all I wanted this video to be, just to showcase how much fun I've been having with this setup. Speaking of the setup, we're going to return to it very shortly because the whole thing is kind of like a songwriter's paradise. With a keyboard here and being able to switch between the different MIDI channels, I've got bass, got chords, I've got this nice plucky sound, and I've got a screaming lead. Awesome. KO2, blowing me away consistently. I do hope you found this video informative or at least entertaining. If you did, be sure to leave a like on it. If not, you can always leave a dislike. That's okay too. Doesn't hurt my feelings, just makes me try that much harder next time. Either way, be sure to hit that subscribe button, ring that notification bell. Thank you all so very much for being here. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye.